Headlines of VTV News. Prime Minister highlights importance of effectively exploiting growth drivers. Red Sea conflict impacts agricultural exports. And after a two-day meeting, the U.S. Federal Reserve decided to keep its key interest rate unchanged.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Hello to our viewers all over the world. This is VTV News, broadcast live from Hanoi, and you are with me, Lina Pham. And here's the top news of the hour. On the morning of February the 1st, State President Võ Văn Thưởng visited and met with the Military Industry and Telecommunications Group, or Viettel. As a leading technology enterprise in Vietnam, Viettel is also a pioneer in international investment, operating in 10 markets across 3 continents. It holds the top position in telecommunications market share in 7 of these markets. Over the past 5 years, Viettel has achieved an average revenue growth rate that is 4 to 5 times higher than the global telecommunication industry's average growth rate. State President Võ Văn Thưởng commended Viettel for its nearly 35 years of remarkable achievements. He emphasized the importance of Viettel becoming a leading example of a successful state-owned enterprise. As a military enterprise, it should ensure that economic development goes hand in hand with national defense and security. Additionally, Viettel should maintain its core role and continue building a high-tech defense industrial complex. President Võ Văn Thưởng also visited and inspected Viettel's high-tech industrial products at Hoa Lạc High-Tech Park. In January, the total import-export turnover exceeded $64 billion, marking a 38% increase compared to the same period. Exports specifically increased by 42%, resulting in a trade surplus of nearly $3 billion. International organizations continue to provide positive evaluations of Vietnam's economic growth prospects. During the regular monthly cabinet meeting in Hanoi on February the 1st, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính highlighted several important lessons. Firstly, he emphasized the importance of implementing the resolutions and conclusions of the Central Committee, the National Assembly, the Politburo, the Secretariat, and General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng. He said that it's crucial to closely monitor both global and domestic situations in order to respond effectively to new emerging issues. Secondly, he stressed the significance of strengthening solidarity and unity within the political system to mobilize all available social resources for the rapid and sustainable development of the country. Furthermore, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính emphasized the importance of celebrating Tết in a joyful, healthy, and economical manner. The aim is to ensure that everyone and every family can enjoy a warm Tết holiday, leaving no one behind. The disbursement of public investment in Ho Chi Minh City has reached a record high, surpassing 49 trillion Vietnamese dongs, or $2 billion. The Department of Planning and Investment in Ho Chi Minh City is currently reviewing and consolidating the disbursement results. The city made significant efforts to ensure that the disbursement of public investment remained on track in 2023. This year, the Department of Planning and Investment will prioritize site clearance, which accounts for 30% of the public investment capital. Additionally, the city's departments will aim to reduce the time required for handling administrative procedures related to public investment by 30%. To meet the shopping needs of people in the capital before, during, and after the 2024 Lunar New Year, Hanoi has prepared a large quantity of products and goods, totaling $1.6 billion in value. This ensures an ample supply of quality goods for consumers.
Hanoi has prepared an estimated total amount of essential goods for the 3 months before, during, and after Tet this year. This includes nearly 300,000 tons of rice, nearly 100,000 tons of cattle and poultry meat, and about 500,000 tons of products from 17 different commodity groups. The purpose of this preparation is to ensure a balance between supply and demand and stabilize the market. The estimated total value of these goods is about $1.6 billion, which represents an increase of about 15% compared to the preparations made for TET 2023.
We have prepared this year's output to increase by 15 to 20%, and we have reserved and committed to suppliers to have a sufficient quantity of goods ready to serve the people. Particularly in the capital of Hanoi, we expect a growth rate of 20 to 25%. Nationwide, we will launch sales until noon on the 30th day of the lunar calendar, and we will reopen on the 4th day of the lunar calendar.
According to the Hanoi Department of Industry and Trade, there are currently 123 supermarket systems, 128 food supply chains, and over 1,800 convenience stores in operation. To meet the shopping needs of the people, more than 1,400 sales points of distribution and retail units have registered to open from the 1st to the 5th day of TET. From the 6th day of TET onwards, all systems will operate normally.
In Hanoi City, there are 1,427 stable sales points to serve the people. Some businesses have registered to operate throughout TET, starting from the 1st day of TET, and by the 6th day of TET, all businesses will return to normal operations. Hanoi also allows nearly 200 vehicles to transport goods 24/7 to ensure TET services for people in the area.
By proactively increasing the reserve capacity of goods, necessities, and food from 15% to 25% for each item, a sufficient supply will be guaranteed to meet people's consumption needs. This will ensure that there are no shortages or sudden price increases in the market for essential goods during TET.
Fruit and vegetable exports in January this year reached nearly $460 million, nearly doubling the figure of the same period last year. Fruit and vegetable export orders in the first quarter have topped out at the maximum level. This is a positive signal for the fruit and vegetable industry. According to the Vietnam Fruit and Vegetable Association, a large amount of products such as durian, bananas, and dragon fruits are being exported to China. This year's fruit and vegetable exports are expected to reach the target of about $6.5 billion in turnover. The ongoing conflict in the Red Sea is becoming a significant obstacle, particularly for goods being exported to Europe. The repeated attacks on this vital maritime route have compelled shipping lines to take longer detours. Consequently, logistics costs have skyrocketed, adversely affecting the export of goods from numerous countries, including Vietnam.
This batch of fragrant rice is being prepared for shipment to Europe. Businesses are growing increasingly concerned about the security situation in the Red Sea area.
The new route takes an additional 5 to 7 days, causing costs to increase significantly. All export businesses are affected.
In the past, a batch of rice exported to Europe cost approximately $500. However, due to the Red Sea conflict, freight rates have increased by 7 to 10 times. Although shipping prices have risen, there are numerous potential risks associated with this route. It is predicted that shipping rates will continue to rise, prompting agricultural export factories in the Mekong Delta to develop proactive response plans.
In 2024, the company will develop air transport methods, especially avoiding sea areas, to export to Australia, Canada, and France.
We only sell FOB prices, and if customers need to deliver CFR, we will add it to the shipping cost.
Currently, Europe is the third largest market for importing Vietnamese agricultural products, with an annual turnover of over $5 billion. It is an urgent requirement for Vietnam's agricultural industry to find safe and effective solutions to effectively tap into this market.
More than just a drink, coffee has become its own niche culture in Vietnam. Coffee lovers are increasingly interested in the quality and flavor of coffee beans, as well as the experience of enjoying a cup of coffee. Grasping this trend, many Vietnamese coffee shops and chains, especially in big cities, are focusing on specialty coffee to attract customers.
Min visits this coffee shop 4 to 5 times every week. As he has encountered specialty coffee for 6 to 7 years, flavor is a decisive factor for him when choosing a place to enjoy his favorite beverage.
Previously, what I knew about coffee was that it's a black and strong drink. But since I started to drink specialty coffee, I've learned that coffee has a diverse taste from sweetness to acidity and bitterness. There is also a wide range of aromas. There were about only 2 specialty coffee shops in Hanoi. Now they are everywhere.
Specialty coffee is defined as the highest grade coffee beans that are grown under ideal conditions. This type of coffee must achieve a minimum of 80 out of 100 points according to the standards and procedures of the World Specialty Coffee Association, based on a number of factors such as aroma, flavor, acidity, sweetness, aftertaste, etc. This is also the reason why many cafes choose this type of bean to attract loyal customers.
Our customers are diverse. Many 70 to 80-year-old people come here quite often and sometimes buy beans to make coffee at home. We also welcome secondary school students who want to enjoy coffee. Specialty coffee has great potential in Vietnam.
We focus on coffee beans with clear origins and special notes that are typical for where they are grown. For example, Robusta grown in Doc Loc has a heavy body. Meanwhile, Robusta grown in Lam Dong has more fruity notes and tastes sweeter and less salty.
At many coffee shops, domestic coffee accounts for up to 50 to 80% of their inputs. They have also collaborated with coffee growers to ensure bean quality, improve growers' livelihoods, and promote Vietnamese coffee.
We're working with farms in Dien Bien, Pleiku, Dak Lak, and Lam Ha. This helps ensure the origin of all coffee beans. We care much about the ripening rates of coffee beans. We only buy beans that are 90 to 99%, or ideally 100%, ripe.
This is a good thing to promote the Vietnamese coffee brand and increase added value for coffee growers. Vietnam took a long time to affirm the quality and reputation of the coffee beans. But now they're more well-known. Vietnamese consumers are now more willing to pay money for a cup of specialty coffee.
Although specialty coffee shops are relatively new in Vietnam, they increasingly attract a diverse range of customers with more demanding tastes and a preference for more diverse experiences in enjoying beverages. This is a high-potential business in the beverage industry to develop in a 100 million people market.
And before we move to the next part of VTV News, let's check out how the Vietnam dong is weighed against other currencies in the world market today. Coming up next, UNCHANGED Wrapping Festival held to support poor households in Dien Bien province. And Đà Lạt attracts tourists with musical bus tour. According to the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor, the estimated average salary of workers in 2023 was 8.65 million Vietnamese dongs per month, or $355 per month, a 5% increase compared to the same period last year. Specifically, workers in state-owned enterprises with 100% charter capital held by the state had an average salary of $400 per month. Workers in private enterprises had an average salary of $355 per month, while those in enterprises with foreign investment capital earned $360 per month. As for this year's Lunar New Year bonus, the average bonus across the country is $300 per person, which is approximately the same as last year's bonus. The joyful spring atmosphere update brings more meaning and warmth, spreading to poor households, especially those in difficult circumstances. In Nậm Border District, Điện Biên Province, the festival of grabbing 10,000 chungkeks for poor households continues to convey this meaningful message.
All necessary preparations have been carefully made for the festival of wrapping 10,000 green chungkeks to be distributed to 5,000 poor households. This event is particularly significant as Nậm Bo is the newest district in Điện Biên Province with a high number of poor households. It ranks among the top in the country with over 5,300 households, accounting for more than 44% of the total. The program has received unanimous support from a wide range of individuals, including officials, workers, civil servants, laborers, armed forces, soldiers, and the general public.
Participating in the cake wrapping festival has been a touching experience for me. I hope that our small contribution can bring a warm-ted celebration to the people in Nậm Bo district.
In the coming years, we will continue to organize the festival to support low-income households, and we will also strive to support families eligible for government assistance and households near the poverty line.
The district fund for the poor was utilized, and the cooperation of more than 1,500 officials, employees, and residents was mobilized. Contributions included donations of firewood, leaves, beans, green beans, and pots. The entire Nậm Bo district took care of date for poor households, fostering a positive spread of kindness as the Lunar New Year approaches.
The Spring Press Festival 2024 opened on February the 1st in Cần Thơ City. The event showcased over 200 publications across 6 areas: politics, social, economic, technology, art and culture, and children's books. These publications center around social issues, individual inspiration, national development, and promoting a reading culture. In addition to displaying spring publications, the event also includes various activities to commemorate significant anniversaries in the country this year. The event is open to the public and will conclude on March the 4th. Thuy Châm village, located in Phú Thọ province in the northern region, is a well-known area for raising a red carp. As the Kitchen God's Day approaches on the 23rd day of the last lunar month, January the 14th this year, the village has been bustling with activities. Every year, traders flock to the village to purchase the fish and then bring them to northern markets for sale. During this season, Thuy Châm village typically supplies the market with 50 tons of red carp. According to legend, the kitchen gods are responsible for taking care of Vietnamese families and keeping a record of their good and bad deeds. Before the Lunar New Year, known as date locally, the kitchen gods ride the fish back to heaven. Currently, craft villages that produce chungkeks and incense are working overtime to meet the demand during date. Despite the challenges, everyone is filled with excitement because selling more goods will make their date celebration more joyful and warm.
During the peak period for date, Tuyet's family can produce up to 2,000 chungkeks to serve consumer needs each day.
This year, we plan to sell 20,000 cakes. Consumption is expected to be a bit slower than usual due to economic reasons.
Chungkeks here will be distributed to supermarket system in Hanoi. From now until Tet, artisans in this craft village will work overtime to ensure the supply of products. Besides chungkeks, incense is another product that is consumed a lot during the Lunar New Year.
Usually, during the Tet holiday, the output will increase by about 20 to 30% compared to the beginning or end of the year. We hope that our revenue will increase by 15% compared to last year.
Aside from localities' orders, some households have private orders, increasing production demand for the locality. The increase in production demand also brings more income to the locality and its people.
For people in crop villages, the period leading up to Tet is the busiest time of the year. Despite having to work longer hours, they are still very happy because it enables them to have a warm Tet celebration.
Dalat becomes even more attractive when viewed from a double-decker bus. This is a sentiment shared by many visitors this spring. The experience becomes even more enjoyable when it is accompanied by music. More on this in the following.
For these two young people in the Central Highlands, music seems to be more than just a passion. It runs in their blood. That's why they have come to this place to sing and play music. What makes it even more interesting is that this place is rather special. It's a double-decker bus.
Enjoying the beauty of the city on a double-decker bus is a lot of fun.
At 5 p.m., tourists board the bus and the journey to explore Dalat city with melodic music begins. Most of the tourists on this bus have visited Dalat multiple times. The roads and famous attractions in this mountain town are no longer unfamiliar to them. However, as the sun sets and they see Dalat from a higher vantage point, the place suddenly becomes even more beautiful.
It's very different from my previous visits to Dalat.
When the bus departs, the music starts playing. Throughout the long-hour journey, songs with many levels of emotion accompany with the passengers. The melodies are lively and vibrant, evoking a sense of poetic beauty in the city.
This city has a poetic charm. The songs playing on this bus add to the beauty of the city.
The Sunset Harmony Music Tour was launched in Dalat in March of last year. Since Dalat has been recognized as a UNESCO Music Creative City, many tourists are eager to come and experience the city's acoustic music.
The music is so good. I love the Vietnamese singing. And the bus ride is very fun. Dalat is beautiful.
The city becomes more familiar to tourists from far away through a journey on the music bus.
Coming up next in our world news, the Federal Reserve leaves interest rates unchanged. And Houthis claim to have hit U.S. merchant ship in Red Sea. After a two-day meeting, the U.S. Federal Reserve, or Fed, decided to keep its key interest rate unchanged and hinted at the possibility of rate cuts in the future. However, it is unlikely that a rate cut will happen in March, despite the significant slowdown in inflation. Currently, the key rate is maintained in a range between 5.25% and 5.5%, the highest it has been in almost 23 years. In terms of future policies, the Fed has also removed its commitment to continue raising interest rates until inflation is brought under control and is on track to reach the Fed's 2% inflation target. Experts suggest that the Fed may take a more cautious approach to interest rate cuts later in the year. The Houti movement in Yemen claimed on Wednesday that they had launched a missile attack on the U.S. commercial ship in the Red Sea. According to a statement by Houthi military spokesman Yahya Sarah, the group targeted the vessel KOI, a container ship en route to Israeli ports. Sarah stated that the attack was carried out using several suitable naval missiles that directly hit the target. This attack occurred shortly after the group fired missiles at the USS Gravely, a U.S. destroyer in the Red Sea. Earlier on Wednesday, the U.S. Central Command reported that U.S. forces had conducted a strike on a Houthi missile launch site in northern Yemen, successfully destroying a Houthi surface-to-air missile that was was prepared for launch. Global air freight prices have increased for the first time in 7 weeks. This rise can be attributed to the upcoming Lunar New Year in Asia and the decision of companies to opt for more expensive air cargo space due to attacks in the Red Sea. The Baltic Air Freight Index, which tracks weekly transactional rates for general cargo across various routes, saw a 6.4% increase in the week leading up to Monday. This reverses the previous decline observed since a peak in mid-December during the holiday season. The attacks by the Iran-aligned Houti group in Yemen have compelled shippers to take longer routes, resulting in delays of several weeks in delivery times. Additionally, many factories in China closed for an 8-day holiday starting on February the 10th. As a result, companies are rushing to deliver their stock to customers before the holiday begins. In the tranquil Croatian village of Domasinek, mastic modeling has reached a whole new level thanks to the artist Tomy Slap Horvat. While many have dabbled in making tiny matchstick models, Horvat makes waves in his life-size sculptures that strain the boundaries of imagination and realism. More in the following.
Croatian artist Tomislav Horvat is not the first person to craft models from matchsticks, but he may be the most ambitious. Horvat, without hesitation, employs 210,000 matchsticks to fashion a life-size sculpture of a pianist playing a grand piano, complete with matchstick strings. Initially, Horvat created much smaller models, but in 2013, he undertook a more significant challenge, a life-size rendition of an actor.
At first I was making imaginary models out of matches. I was simply fed up with that and wanted a bigger challenge. And that's how I started making sculptures. My first sculpture was the Godfather from the movie, trilogy of the same name, Godfather.
To support sculptures on such a scale, he fashions a supporting structure from papier-mâché or wood.
At the moment I have completed 3 sculptures. I am working on the 4th one. My first sculpture was completed in 2013, called Godfather, which I worked on for a year and a half, and it has 117,000 matches.
Horvat's amazing matchstick sculptures have been shown in galleries throughout Croatia, including the capital city of Zagreb, but they remain priceless works of art that are not for sale. These unique art pieces captivate viewers, who are also moved by the artist's skill, dedication, and inventiveness.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.